Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today, we're going to answer the question, is this the end? Many posts that the bull run is at an end. And many of you who believe the bull run is not an end are asking, is the worst over? And we're going to answer those two questions in the show and a whole bunch more. But before we do that, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people. Of course, does help support the channel, as does your wonderful comments that you leave. You take the time to write them. I take the time to read them and respond. Thank you so much. And those who put questions in the comment section, I do get back to those as soon as I'm able to. However, if you'd like more immediate engagement and interaction, you can join me in the Tribal Trades Discord. One Discord to rule them all. And we are closing that Discord. This Discord is going to be closed this week. And so if you'd like to get on the wait list for that Discord, there is an email address below in the description for this video, okay? And you can email there, and then you'll be sent some information and links on how to sign up. And of course, I'm still in Stocks with Josh Discord as always. I was in there very active yesterday. I'm sharing my education, my insights, resources, some trade setups, as well as entertainment, because this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? So yeah, all the Discord links for the Stocks with Josh and my Tribal Trades Discord are below in the description of this video. You might need to click the more button there. Okay, so let's talk about what happened yesterday. And so let's start with some of the posts that I've sent out in my Tribal Trades Discord. 5:41 p.m. This was about 40 minutes before I went on with the Stocks with Josh YouTube video, where we pretty much predicted exactly what was going to happen, and it happened right at the end of the stream, about an hour, maybe around 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this was a couple of hours before that. And I shared that in the Discord because it's important to not be someone that overtrades. Sometimes I'm guilty of overtrading. I had a couple of trades there I got stopped out of, and I just had a feeling about the market. I actually shared in the Discord this drop has some August vibes to it. And remember what happened in early August? We had the Japanese yen cash carry trade crash. And I remember just the liquidations and the cascading and the capitulation, and that's exactly what happened. So I called it in there in the Discord before it actually happened, that I was getting that vibe, that I was getting that feeling, and that I was sitting on my hands. Probably best play today, let the bleeding out finish. And I did let the bleeding out finish, and I got some good plays in there, shared those in the Discord. Remember, there's some live sessions starting in the Tribal Trades Discord next week. Okay, the week after Super Bowl Sunday, we're going to close the Discord this week, and then next week will be some live sessions. There's charting. I've got a trading floor there where I share not just my trades, but what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, each step along the way to help the learning process, not just I bought here and I sold here. Okay, I also do that. There's the crypto plays, there are stocks plays, as well as all the wonderful chats that we have in there, and a whole bunch more. So very excited. Would love to see you in there. What we have there also is the Bitcoin retest of yearly open at 103,500, which was also the test of the 100-day moving average, which has held so far. I did share that in the YouTube video yesterday morning. That ended up being very prophetic there, that we did come down and tag that. And we do have a CME gap created at 98,400 to 102,000. Those generally get filled sooner rather than later. So I would expect those to be done. Are we here? Let me know your thoughts. We have this big bear trap there, and this could be the bear trap, although some people think that we're possibly here and we have a dead cat bounce. Where do you think we are? Are we in a bear trap, or are we over here in a bull trap? I want to know your thoughts on what you think, and I'm going to put a survey in the Discord. I want to hear what the Discord as well. And of course, what we saw was 2.15 billion liquidated from the crypto market, making it the worst liquidation event in history, greater than the FTX collapse and Luna in terms of 24-hour liquidations. So the question would be, really, is this the end? Well, I don't think it's the end for Bitcoin. There you can see how red capital there is now a CME gap. There's the exact numbers there if you need the numbers to put them in your charts. That can actually help you out there. But is this the end? And I would say I don't think it is the end. We have here the Bitcoin has the entire month of February to monthly close above 96,600 confirmed the retest as successful. So even just closing above 96,600 would be a bullish sign. I mean, that's how parabolic the move was up from November up until January. And really, we didn't see much of this. Is normally what happens in the January dump, by the way, but it came on February. And remember, I did share on my X account, who remembers here, let's scroll down a little bit further here, that I did telling everybody that the average is usually by the 4th, that comes in on the 1st and the 2nd, of course. And so last bull run, it came in on the 1st of the month. In 2030, it came in on the 2nd, and it might have well come in on the 2nd. That might be the February low. Of course, there is a possibility we go low, and we'll talk about that in the charts in a moment. We had this one here on the 9th, but the average over all years is the 9th. So usually there's a bit of a drop, but boy, was that certainly a drop that happened there. And then, of course, as well, 92,650. This guy kind of nailed it because this is before that it happened. This was at 5:10 p.m. So this was right before the drop to there happened. 92,650 would be a 15% correction from all-time high. We've yet to see a correction greater than 17% since November. Short-term holder cost base is also at 92,500. So those who are short-term holders, that's their average there, and that's what it came down to and tested. And so we're going to have a look at that in a moment there, and we're going to jump into the charts. And so what I would say is, first of all, let's have a look at how deep that came. It actually came down to 91,231. So let's measure this and see what kind of a drop that we've seen. I mean, this drop actually started in January. So this roundabout here, it's not going to be the exact percentage, but it's going to be pretty close. So really, it's been about 16, 17% drop from there. And usually Bitcoin's dropped 20. So we haven't even seen a 20 or 30% severe correction. I think it was the way that it happened and what happened to altcoins specifically, because we can see Bitcoin dominance hit 60, almost 65%. Unbelievable there. And usually Bitcoin dominance tops out in December. It topped out in November, and now it's had a new top in February. So that's quite interesting there. And it does show you how much of a Bitcoin dominated cycle this has been here. And we are starting to, hopefully there's some bearish divergence on Bitcoin dominance. It's the only hope that I can give us altcoin holders there. Of course, I hope that you all hold some Bitcoin as I do. And so what did I say yesterday? I said yesterday that obviously the 50-day moving average, that if we were to lose that, which we did, that I did see us coming down and a possible retest down here. And this is the area that I gave yesterday at that 92,800 level. And of course, the 100 moving average, 100-day moving average sitting at 94,000 today, around 94,000. And we didn't close below that. Now, I do find this is a bit of a wick. A lot of times these wicks do get a little bit eaten up. So it wouldn't surprise me if we did creep down and retest this area here again. Look, we could always come down to the low of the range. So what's happened there is we had this range that we were in, and we were only out of this range for about 10 days over a 2-month period. And we've had this deviation. We were in a new range here, up here, and this has been some capitulation. And this will be the key area right here where we fell down from 100K. So we're going to find some pretty stern resistance, because a couple of things are going to happen. There's going to be people who said, I'm out. I'm done with this crypto market. Maybe it's not for me. And as soon as it gets back to around here, they're done. They're out, they're selling, or they're completely taking all their original capital off the table, and they're getting out of the market for good. And this will be the level that will be tough now to get above. And so, of course, these levels, you see there's a Lux order blocks, and all the way Lux Algo order blocks, and all the way up the 200 EMA on the daily is slowly creeping up. is slowly creeping up. At some point, we could come back and retest that. That's sitting at 83. I've got my eye on here. Before all of this, we've got all of this area in here, and we really don't want to lose. You can see the volume profile just drops off a cliff around this area, and so we don't want to lose this $90,000 area. We came and wicked into it, and as I've said before, and I actually said this on the video yesterday morning, what did I say? I said, look at this big wick here that was created on the 13th of January, the January low. Generally, these wicks get filled or partially filled. So that might be it. Now, do I see us going below there? I'd be actually surprised now if we were to go below the January low and the February low was to be lower than the January low, the January 13th low. That would be a bit of a surprise and not something I can recall seeing before in a bull run, or at least in a February after the halving year. And so I did say that I was surprised that when this went up, that there wasn't a kind of usually what you would happen is a retest here, and that's exactly what's happened. So I really figured this would happen, and I shared this yesterday in the video. And so where we are from now here is I do feel that we're having a little bit of relief here, but we could come back and retest this 92,800, even come down as low as, this 90,000 area here. So I'm looking for around this area for this wick to be partially or completely filled. Now, it doesn't have to, and of course, we do have the CME gap up now around about this Fibonacci level here, 98 to this 102. So we could see a real push move to the upside, creating a lower high, and then come back down, and maybe we create a higher low, and we don't completely go below this wick here. Okay, so that is something that I'm looking at the moment. Now, do I think the cycle is at an end? Absolutely not. We have Super Bowl Sunday coming up, and historically that has been a very good boost for crypto, especially now all the prices are low. People can look and say, hey, I can buy some of my favorite altcoins or altcoins at a discount. I would also say there was one of the post-halving Januaries where the dump came later in January, about the January the 23rd or the 24th, and didn't recover properly until February the 26th, but it started its recovery there. It's found its bottom. So be prepared that we could take some time to get out here and completely recover the losses that have happened for Bitcoin. Now, altcoins is a different story, and I'll be doing an altcoin show a little bit later on in a couple of hours. So keep an eye out for that. So no, I do not think that the Bitcoin bull run is at an end. Now, the question I'm going to answer in the altcoin show is the altcoin bull run. Maybe the altcoins are in a bear market and Bitcoin has decoupled and is now in a bull run, because as you can see, we have had the decoupling of Bitcoin and the crypto markets, the altcoin markets, and we haven't really seen this happen like this before. I'm going to be talking about that in the altcoin show. And if we look at the liquidation levels, so the Bitcoin, as we can see, it's mostly above price. There's not a lot of huge, big, bright yellow yet, because a lot of it got wiped out. And so I think if we are going to see some more downside, I would at least think we're going to have some pause for the RSI to reset, for funding rates, which have gone negative, to reset. There we go on the weekly. We see that up at 106 there. And of course, that's the brightest level. But there is a lot of liquidity above price there. It can be left behind at some point. Liquidity can be left behind, and you look on the monthly, boy oh boy, up there at that $110,000 level, there is a lot up there. And then we jump on the 3-month time frame. There is still some liquidity down there, all the way down there at 81,000 and even lower. That all got left behind. So in the same way, some of this liquidity to the upside, if we're going to go deeper, and you always have to, I've always said this, that you always have to consider, is the bull run over? I think there's still a 1 to 3% chance that the bull run is over. You always have to consider that and be prepared for that, number one. But no, I don't think the bull run is over, at least for Bitcoin. And then secondly, is the worst over? I do think it's more probable and more likely. Remember, I never talk in guarantees or certainties because nobody knows the future. And so anybody saying to you, the bottom is in, really doesn't know if the bottom is in or not. I'll say that more likely it's a higher probability that the bottom is now in, or we're pretty close to the bottom. Like I said, we could come down and fill that wick down there for Bitcoin. So those are the answers to my two questions today. Those are the levels that I'm looking for rebounding, for support and resistance, the upside, and some other data there, of course. So I don't think that the bull run is over for Bitcoin, at least. And we'll talk about some altcoins in a little bit. And I do think that the worst is most likely over, although we could see a little bit. We could have a little bit of a dead cat bounce, come back a little bit, and then before going on its way up. And I do expect February still to be bullish. I do still expect a new all-time high for February. And I am still saying, yes, we can hit 120K in February. For certainly, that is a possibility. We've seen how quickly the crypto market can move, but certainly a new all-time high in February, I would say getting at least over that to $110,000 is something that I'll continue to say I do think is the likelihood. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show today. And until the next episode, or until I see you in the Discord, happy trading.